Emotional detachment isn't about cutting off love or severing connections. It's about freeing yourself from unhealthy attachments that limit your growth. To emotionally detach, we first need to understand a powerful truth: emotional independence is where strength begins. When you tie your happiness or identity to external circumstances or people, you surrender your power. But when you detach, you regain the authority over your own emotional well-being. Emotional independence is the foundation of personal strength and self-empowerment. It is the ability to manage and regulate your own emotions without relying on external factors, people, circumstances, or situations to determine your state of mind. When you achieve emotional independence, you free yourself from the need for constant validation or approval from others. Instead, you find peace, security, and fulfillment from within. One of the first steps to emotional independence is recognizing that your emotions are your responsibility. Often we believe that other people's actions or words control how we feel. If someone offends us, we think it's their fault that we are upset. If someone fails to appreciate us, we might feel hurt or unworthy. But the truth is, your emotional responses are a reflection of your inner world, not the outer world. When you internalize this truth, you stop giving others the power to determine how you feel. Learning to manage emotions is at the core of emotional independence. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings or pretending that things don't affect you. On the contrary, emotional independence is about acknowledging your emotions, processing them, and then choosing how to respond. It's about cultivating emotional resilience so that you can remain grounded no matter what is happening around you. For example, when faced with criticism, an emotionally independent person doesn't take it as a personal attack, but instead sees it as an opportunity to reflect or grow. They remain centered because their sense of worth isn't dependent on external opinions. At the heart of emotional independence is self-worth. When you truly know your value, you no longer need others to confirm it. Too often we seek validation from people around us, whether it's through approval, praise, or love. But emotional independence teaches you that you are already enough. You don't need to prove your worth or seek acceptance because you know who you are. This understanding gives you the freedom to act and make decisions that align with your values and principles without worrying about how others will perceive you. Another key aspect of emotional independence is detaching from the outcomes of situations. Many people live in a constant state of emotional turmoil because they tie their happiness to specific outcomes. They believe that if things don't go their way, they can't be happy. However, emotional independence teaches that happiness and peace come from within, not from external circumstances. Whether you succeed or fail, whether people accept you or reject you, your emotional state remains steady because you are not dependent on those external factors to feel good about yourself. Furthermore, emotional independence allows you to love and connect with others more fully. This might seem counterintuitive, but it's true. When you are emotionally dependent, your relationships can become strained by the pressure you put on others to meet your emotional needs. You may find yourself clinging to people, fearing rejection, or becoming overly sensitive to their behavior. But when you are emotionally independent, you can love freely because you're not seeking to fill a void. You give love without expecting something in return, and this makes your connections with others deeper and more genuine. Emotional independence leads to personal empowerment. You realize that your happiness, your peace, and your emotional well-being are in your own hands. This sense of control over your emotional life allows you to move through the world with confidence and grace. Instead of reacting to every situation or person that comes your way, you respond thoughtfully, knowing that you are anchored in your own strength. Emotional independence is the key to living a life where you are no longer at the mercy of external forces, but are guided by an inner peace and unwavering sense of self-worth. Understanding the difference between connection and attachment is crucial for emotional well-being and healthy relationships. Connection is a natural, healthy bond that allows two people to relate to each other, grow together, and support one another. It is rooted in mutual respect, trust, and love. Connection is flexible and adaptive. It encourages freedom and individuality while still fostering closeness. When you connect with someone, you are able to share emotions, experiences, and support without losing your sense of self or feeling overwhelmed by the relationship. On the other hand, attachment is often driven by fear, insecurity, and dependency. It can feel intense and consuming, making you feel as though you need the other person to fulfill your emotional needs or provide a sense of worth. Attachment is rooted in the fear of loss, the need for control, and the desire to be validated by another person. This emotional reliance can lead to possessiveness, jealousy, and anxiety because the relationship becomes a source of identity or validation. In a connected relationship, there is a balance between closeness and individuality. Both people are free to grow, evolve, and pursue their own interests without feeling threatened. Connection doesn't demand constant reassurance or control over the other person's actions. It's based on trust, knowing that the bond will remain strong even in the face of challenges. There's an understanding that love and support are given freely, without conditions or expectations. Because connection comes from a place of security and self-worth, it allows the relationship to flourish as both people contribute equally without feeling drained. Attachment, however, is more one-sided and comes with emotional strings attached. It is often marked by anxiety, especially when there's a fear of losing the relationship or the other person's attention. This anxiety can lead to behaviors like clinging, controlling, or constantly seeking validation. In attachment, the relationship becomes a source of emotional survival rather than mutual support. The focus is on holding on, often at the expense of personal growth and self-respect. This type of bond can become suffocating and leave both people feeling trapped, as the fear of losing the attachment takes precedence over nurturing a healthy, fulfilling relationship. When you are connected, you can love someone deeply while also allowing them the space to be themselves. You are not trying to control or possess them. Instead, you are engaging with them from a place of emotional independence. You understand that love is about giving freely, not out of need or fear, but out of genuine care. Connection allows you to respect the other person's individuality while sharing a close bond, and it empowers both people to become their best selves within the relationship. In contrast, attachment often limits personal growth and creates dependency. The person who is attached may feel incomplete without the other, and this leads to a cycle of emotional highs and lows, where their sense of worth is tied to the relationship's status. In such relationships, there's often a constant need for reassurance and an inability to cope with the idea of separation, even if it's temporary. The fear of abandonment becomes overwhelming, and this fear can drive unhealthy behaviors that strain the relationship. Connection encourages freedom, respect, and mutual growth, while attachment can become a source of emotional imprisonment. It's important to recognize this difference because healthy relationships thrive on connection, not attachment. When you are able to differentiate between the two, you can cultivate stronger, more fulfilling bonds that enrich your life, rather than drain your emotional energy. Letting go of the need for control is a transformative step toward emotional freedom and inner peace. Many people hold tightly to the idea that if they can control their circumstances, the people around them, or even their emotions, they can avoid pain or disappointment. However, this desire for control often leads to more stress, anxiety, and emotional turmoil than relief. The reality is, trying to control every aspect of life is an impossible task, and it creates an ongoing struggle against the natural flow of events. The more you attempt to control, the more you resist what is beyond your power, and this resistance leads to frustration and emotional exhaustion. At the root of the need for control is fear of the unknown, fear of uncertainty, and fear of loss. When you feel uncertain about the future, you might instinctively try to grasp onto whatever you can manage. You believe that if you can control your environment or the people in your life, you can somehow ensure your happiness or prevent suffering. Yet, life is inherently unpredictable. Relationships shift, circumstances change, and outcomes don't always align with expectations. By clinging to control, you are essentially setting yourself up for disappointment. because no matter how much you plan or manage, there will always be variables beyond your reach. Letting go of control requires a deep trust in the process of life. It involves accepting that uncertainty is a natural part of existence and that some outcomes are not for you to decide. This doesn't mean you stop making efforts or give up on your desires. It simply means that you release the need to force things to go a certain way. You learn to adapt, flow, and respond to life as it comes, rather than trying to mold every situation to fit your expectations. By doing this, you free yourself from the constant pressure of having to orchestrate everything perfectly. One of the most liberating aspects of releasing control is the peace that comes with it. When you stop trying to control people or situations, you stop fighting against reality. You allow yourself to embrace the present moment as it is, without judgment or resistance. This opens the door to a deeper sense of calm because you're no longer expending energy trying to shape things that are beyond your influence. You become more present and grounded, able to navigate life's ups and downs with grace rather than anxiety. In relationships, the need for control can manifest as possessiveness, jealousy, or the constant need to know what the other person is thinking or doing. This behavior stems from a fear of being hurt or abandoned. However, trying to control another person not only damages the relationship, but it also robs you of the joy and authenticity that comes from mutual trust. Letting go of control in relationships allows both people to breathe and grow. It creates space for genuine connection because you're no longer holding on to rigid expectations of how things should be. Control is also closely tied to perfectionism. The belief that you must control every aspect of your life to avoid failure or criticism leads to an overwhelming need for perfection. This mindset can stifle creativity, spontaneity, and joy because you're constantly measuring yourself against an unattainable standard. By releasing the need for control, you allow yourself to make mistakes, to learn, and to grow without the fear of being judged or falling short. You embrace the imperfections of life as opportunities for growth, rather than as obstacles to be controlled or eliminated. Releasing the need for control is about surrendering to the flow of life. It's about trusting that even when things don't go as planned, you have the strength and resilience to handle whatever comes your way. It's an act of faith, not in the sense of passivity, but in the recognition that life's unfolding is beyond your total command, and that's okay. When you let go of control, you free yourself from the constant worry and tension of trying to force outcomes. You open yourself to new possibilities, allowing life to surprise you with unexpected blessings and growth. Setting healthy boundaries is essential for maintaining emotional well-being and fostering healthy relationships. Boundaries act as invisible lines that define where your needs and responsibilities end and where someone else's begin. They allow you to protect your emotional and mental space while still engaging meaningfully with others. Healthy boundaries are not about building walls or distancing yourself from people. They are about creating a safe space where you can interact with others without feeling overwhelmed, taken advantage of, or depleted. One of the key reasons people struggle with boundaries is the fear of rejection or conflict. Often there's a worry that by asserting boundaries, you'll upset someone, be seen as selfish, or risk losing a relationship. However, setting boundaries is not an act of selfishness, it's an act of self-respect. Boundaries allow you to preserve your energy, time, and emotional health. Without them, you may find yourself constantly giving, accommodating others at your own expense, and eventually feeling drained or resentful. Healthy boundaries create clarity in relationships. When you clearly communicate your limits, others know what to expect from you, and misunderstandings or miscommunications are minimized. For example, if you set a boundary that you won't answer work-related calls after a certain hour, it clarifies your expectations and protects your personal time. Boundaries in relationships can also help prevent emotional burnout. By setting limits on how much you give emotionally, you protect yourself from feeling overwhelmed or overburdened by others' problems. Another important aspect of boundaries is that they teach people how to treat you. When you consistently enforce your boundaries, others learn to respect your limits. If you don't set clear boundaries, People may unintentionally overstep, not realizing that they are causing you stress or discomfort. Boundaries are also crucial in ensuring that you're not overextending yourself in situations that drain your energy or harm your emotional well-being. By saying no when necessary, you preserve your inner peace and protect yourself from situations that don't align with your values or capacity. Learning to say no is a vital part of boundary setting. Many people struggle with saying no because they feel obligated to meet others' expectations, even when it's inconvenient or unhealthy for them. However, every time you say yes to something that infringes on your well-being, you say no to yourself. Healthy boundaries give you the strength to prioritize your own needs without guilt. Saying no doesn't mean you don't care. It means you are recognizing your limits and acting in a way that honors your well-being. Boundaries are also important in maintaining your sense of identity. Without them, you may find yourself bending to others' expectations, losing sight of your own needs, and sacrificing your personal goals. Boundaries help you stay true to yourself by ensuring that you don't give up who you are to meet someone else's demands. They allow you to live authentically, ensuring that your actions and decisions align with your core values. In addition, boundaries foster mutual respect. When you set boundaries, you are not only respecting your own needs, but also encouraging others to do the same. This creates healthier, more balanced relationships where both parties feel respected and valued. Boundaries also prevent unhealthy dynamics, such as codependency, where one person's well-being becomes overly reliant on the other. By maintaining clear boundaries, both individuals are empowered to take responsibility for their own emotional health. Setting boundaries takes practice and courage. It requires self-awareness to recognize where your limits are and assertiveness to communicate those limits. At times, people may push back or resist your boundaries, especially if they are used to you being more accommodating. However, standing firm in your boundaries is crucial for your emotional health. Over time, others will come to respect and appreciate the clarity and strength that boundaries bring to relationships. Boundaries are essential for maintaining balance in life. They create the necessary space for personal growth, protect your emotional energy, and ensure that relationships are mutually respectful and healthy. By setting and enforcing healthy boundaries, you cultivate an environment where you can thrive emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Focusing on inner growth is one of the most profound and rewarding pursuits a person can undertake. Inner growth is the process of nurturing your emotional, mental, and spiritual development. It involves self-reflection, learning from experiences, and striving to become a better version of yourself each day. While external achievements such as career success, financial stability, or social recognition are often highlighted, true fulfillment comes from the growth that takes place within. Inner growth begins with self-awareness, the ability to understand your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. This means taking the time to reflect on your emotions, patterns of thinking, and reactions to various situations. When you become aware of why you think or feel a certain way, you gain the power to make changes. Instead of being reactive, you become intentional in your actions and responses. Self-awareness allows you to identify areas where you may need improvement, such as managing your temper, cultivating patience, or learning to forgive. Without this level of introspection, personal development remains stagnant because you're unaware of the inner obstacles holding you back. A key aspect of inner growth is embracing challenges as opportunities for learning. Life inevitably brings difficulties, whether in relationships, work, or personal struggles. These challenges, though often uncomfortable, are the catalyst for inner transformation. Instead of resisting or avoiding adversity, inner growth requires you to confront it head-on with an open mind. Each setback or failure becomes a lesson that teaches resilience, adaptability, and wisdom. By shifting your perspective on challenges, you no longer view them as threats, but as stepping stones that contribute to your evolution as a person. Another important component of inner growth is developing emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the ability to understand and manage your emotions, as well as empathize with the emotions of others. As you grow internally, you become more skilled at handling difficult emotions such as anger, sadness, or fear. Instead of allowing these emotions to control you, you learn to process them in healthy ways. This not only improves your relationship with yourself, but also enhances your relationships with others. People who focus on inner growth are often more compassionate, understanding, and better equipped to navigate interpersonal conflicts because they've learned how to regulate their own emotions. Inner growth also involves letting go of limiting beliefs and past hurts that keep you stuck. Many people carry around emotional baggage from past experiences such as rejection, betrayal, or failure. These experiences often lead to limiting beliefs, like I'm not good enough or I don't deserve happiness. Focusing on inner growth means examining these beliefs and recognizing that they no longer serve you. It's about forgiving yourself and others, releasing the past, and embracing the possibilities of the present. This release allows you to move forward with a sense of freedom and empowerment, unburdened by old wounds. A vital part of inner growth is cultivating a mindset of gratitude and positivity. When you focus on what you're grateful for, rather than what's lacking, your outlook on life shifts dramatically. Gratitude is a powerful tool that fosters contentment, regardless of external circumstances. It helps you see the good in every situation and appreciate the small blessings that often go unnoticed. A positive mindset encourages optimism and hope, which are essential for personal growth. It enables you to face life's uncertainties with confidence and trust that everything is unfolding as it should. Finally, inner growth is a lifelong journey. It's not something that can be achieved overnight or through quick fixes. It requires commitment, patience, and a willingness to continually improve. As you grow internally, you become more attuned to your true self, your values, passions, and purpose. This clarity helps you make decisions that align with your authentic self, rather than being swayed by external pressures or societal expectations. By focusing on inner growth, you lay the foundation for a life of fulfillment, purpose, and peace. Seeking divine guidance for clarity is a crucial aspect of navigating life's complexities and uncertainties. When you're faced with difficult decisions or overwhelming circumstances, it's natural to seek wisdom beyond your own understanding. Divine guidance, whether through prayer, meditation, or quiet reflection, offers a deeper sense of direction and assurance that goes beyond what the human mind can comprehend. It's an acknowledgement that there is a higher power, a greater source of wisdom, that can lead you toward the right path, even when things seem unclear. Often, people rely on their own reasoning and logic to solve problems or make decisions. While intellect and experience are valuable, they are limited. Human understanding is often shaped by emotions, fears, and biases, which can cloud judgment and lead to confusion. Seeking divine guidance invites you to tap into a source of wisdom that transcends these limitations. It allows you to access insight that is not bound by time, emotion, or circumstance, but is instead grounded in eternal truth. When you seek divine guidance, you open yourself to the possibility of seeing situations from a higher perspective. You begin to realize that some things are beyond your control and that you do not always have all the answers. This is not a sign of weakness, but of humility. It is an acknowledgement that you are part of something greater, and that by surrendering to this greater power, you allow yourself to be led in ways that might surprise you. Divine guidance is not about passivity or waiting for a magical answer to appear. It is about actively tuning into the voice of the Spirit, the voice of God, and trusting that this guidance will lead you to clarity. Clarity does not always come immediately. Often, when seeking divine guidance, patience is required. The answers may not be revealed in the way you expect or in the timeline you hope for. But part of the process of seeking divine guidance is learning to trust in divine timing. What seems like a delay is often a period of preparation. In those moments of waiting, your faith is tested and strengthened. You learn to listen more deeply, to trust more fully, and to surrender more completely. In this way, seeking divine guidance for clarity becomes an exercise in patience, faith, and trust. One of the most profound aspects of divine guidance is the peace it brings. Even when the answers are not immediately clear, the act of seeking divine direction often calms the mind and settles the heart. You are reminded that you are not alone in your struggles or decisions. There is a divine hand guiding you even when you cannot see the full picture. This peace allows you to approach life's challenges with a sense of calm and confidence, knowing that the answers will come in due time and that ultimately all things are working together for your good. To seek divine guidance effectively, it's important to create space for stillness and quiet. The distractions of everyday life work, relationships, responsibilities can make it difficult to hear the subtle whispers of divine wisdom. By setting aside time for prayer, meditation, or reflection, you create an environment where clarity can emerge. In these moments of silence, you may receive insights, ideas, or a sense of peace that directs you toward the right course of action. Furthermore, divine guidance often comes through various forms. It may come through a feeling of peace about a particular decision, a scripture that resonates deeply, or a wise word from a trusted friend or spiritual advisor. It may even come through circumstances that unfold in ways you could not have orchestrated. The key is to remain open and receptive, trusting that divine guidance can come from unexpected sources. The more you seek it, the more you attune yourself to the ways in which this guidance manifests. Seeking divine guidance for clarity is about aligning yourself with a higher purpose. It's about recognizing that your life is part of a greater plan, and that by seeking clarity from a divine source, you align yourself with that plan. This clarity not only illuminates your path, but also brings a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that you are walking in harmony with the divine will. In conclusion, emotional detachment is not about becoming cold or indifferent. It is about empowering yourself to live with emotional balance, independence, and strength. By focusing on inner growth, setting healthy boundaries, and recognizing the difference between connection and attachment, you create space for deeper clarity and purpose in your life. Releasing the need for control, seeking divine guidance, and allowing yourself to grow spiritually enables you to navigate relationships and life's challenges with grace. This journey of emotional detachment is ultimately one of personal empowerment, leading to healthier relationships, peace of mind, and a more profound connection with yourself and the divine.